Hey Kelly, good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Steve. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. We're here at CES. It's a monster show, isn't it?
It is.
I'd like to try to make it relevant to our audience at Light Reading. What do you think the impact is of all of this consumer technology, which basically is all connected technology now? What is the impact of that on our industry?
CES has been known as a consumer electronics show, and as we were just talking earlier, they're changing it to more of a consumer technology show, right? And that has huge amounts of implication. If you walk around the show floor over the past years, you've seen things change from just consumer electronics to what we call IoT or digitization and all of these things that are coming up. And the ecosystems and the partners and applications and the value chains that are going to get created are immense. Right? So for us as an industry, it's really important to understand what that requires. And to us from a technology point of view and our customers or the operators point of view, it's really simple about transforming the way we do, what we do, the services we offer, how we offer them, so that this can actually flourish.
Right.
So you imagine the future world where everything from drones to cell phones to cars to other things are all connected.
Yeah.
And the applications that can be built on top, they're all going to require immediate access to a network.
Yes.
And I call that a construct of network as a service.
Network as a service.
And to be able to do that, we have to have the traditional constructs of building the network, but also a new way of managing and operating the network,
Right.
which is really the IT constructs. And you have to fuse them together in a way that we haven't done that before.
Yeah.
And things like cloud, SDN, NFV make all of that possible.
Now, I guess NFV and SDN, which in some ways add up to cloud, they're sort of the fundamental infrastructure, aren't they? Do you think that we're further along with solving the challenges that are required to build cloud than we are with things like working out how to bill or manage or service these new applications at the higher level of the stack, as it were?
Well, I think we're a lot farther than we were in many areas.
Right.
So for example, some of the services or applications, so for example, at the show here, we're talking about infinite video, infinite broadcast. A lot of these are cloud-ready things,
Right.
or cloud offers that we can deliver. Things like a Meraki or business services, virtual managed services that we've talked about, all cloud delivered.
Right.
Those are all there and available now,
Right.
and ready to be able to be used by the customers. But there are other things that are more traditional network-centric. How you actually build a network, how do you construct the network around those? You've seen the examples of even customers rolling out mobile networks for machine-to-machine or IoT that are
Right.
more using virtualized constructs or cloud constructs. So I think it's becoming more real, and there are real use cases that are emerging over the last few years that are actually making this more concrete.
Yeah. I mean, it's very interesting to me that there is this sort of convergence of solutions going on between telecom and enterprise. When you describe what needs to be done, oftentimes you're pulling in terminology and solutions from the world of telecom and then combining them at Cisco with things that you've learned or had experience of in the enterprise. Do you think at some point, just looking out into the future, whether it's 5 years or 10 years, that we have a consistent product set or solution set from Cisco which goes in both directions? Do we stop having a separation of what we call now enterprise technology from telecom technology?
Well, there are certainly certain applications or things. So for example, collaboration. Collaboration in the enterprise is going to be very unique.
Yeah.
Right? Or, and that could mean many different things. But the network it runs on or the platform it runs on could certainly be common to what an operator or a network might need as well.
Right.
Right. So those constructs, certainly I see some direction and what not overlap, but even convergence.
Right.
So if you look at some of the moves that we made, right, in our core technologies, which is routing, switching, wireless, cable, optical, we've actually combined all of those engineering teams together, and we have a common software group and a common hardware group. And the reason why we've done that is we can build those technologies in a common way and then take them to an enterprise or a service provider audience.
Right.
Because there is a lot of commonality in what's required.
Yeah. Are you planning to restructure the company between enterprise and service provider?
No, I think we did that a couple of years ago.
Okay.
We're not planning to change that.
No further changes there. Okay, good. Let's talk about some of the big news from last year, which was this partnership which you announced with Ericsson towards the end of last year, which is kind of a mind-blowing deal. How was it received by your staff at Cisco? I guess a lot of them were surprised.
It took a long time to work through the partnership. we started the discussions back in, I think, 2014. And I was part of the early discussions with our leadership team as well as Hans and his leadership team. And we worked over the course of a year. So over the period of time, we engaged a few more people as we kind of defined the areas and looked at where we wanted to go. There was a lot of excitement on both the Ericsson side and the Cisco side when we actually announced it. It made so much sense to all the teams because the complementary areas are way more higher than any of the overlap areas. Yes, we have some overlaps. We're going to compete in certain areas, but the amount of the things we can do together jointly, there's a lot more opportunity for both of us. And the premise of the relationship is two industry leaders working together to help the industry, in three areas. One is growth, and how do we get to growth is speed and innovation. And if we can combine our R&D strength, if we can focus on our core areas and then co-develop or co-create in certain areas, we can really help our customers move a lot faster. And the more we can help them move, and to your first question around what's going on here, we can actually make that more real and get those things to move.
Well, I mean, it is an astonishing R&D war chest on its own, isn't it? Because between the two companies, you spend over $11 billion a year in R&D, which is almost, it's an almost inconceivably large amount. You could do almost anything with it. And what I didn't realize when the partnership was first announced is that this is much more than just okay, well, we've got a good product here, so we'll sell that, and you've got a good product there, you're going to sell that. You're actually going to develop some products together, is that right?
Absolutely.
When do you think we're going to see the first of those?
Clearly the relationship was a lot more about what we can do together as opposed to just reselling. Because they've had partners that they've been reselling stuff from, and we have other options too. So the opportunity for us to work together and co-develop was clearly what excited both of us in this. We have teams working together in a few specific areas, which would be logical. Some of them we've talked about, some of them we haven't, and you'll hear more about them as we work our way towards Barcelona.
I'm going to give you a suggestion. What I would like to see is an HD8000 Ericsson data center platform with integrated Cisco NFV technology. And I'd like to see a smaller version of it for out at the edge of the network, even in customer CPE, and then a larger version of it, maybe a really big version, maybe one which is so big it's got its own gravity well sitting in the middle of the network.
It's an interesting idea.
Really? Is that your poker face? You're not going to be drawn on that one, are you?
No, not at all.
No, okay. You can't make that happen for me? All right, well, we'll just have to wait and see.
But you think
that's just my suggestion.
Well, thank you. That's a great suggestion. But you think about where we're coming from, and I'll just give you examples. It's network and IT. Enterprise service provider, indoor, outdoor, unlicensed, licensed, IP, mobile, all these areas of intersection, and what we can make it easier for our customers to move faster. Those are the kind of things we're going to focus on. And yes, the ideas like what we do in the data center, what we do with NFV, how we handle management and control, how do we handle Wi-Fi and licensed and roaming across 3GPP and Wi-Fi. Those are all the things that we're looking at. And in fact, there's more thoughts on which areas, and your suggestion's a good one, than we can focus on. So we're taking a very calculated approach and focusing on a few specific things, but we're continuing to find more opportunities that we can work together on.
Well, I think one thing which is really clear is that this isn't just a PR announcement, it's not just a reseller agreement, there's a lot of real fundamental integration of the DNA. There's some gene splicing going on, and that's very exciting.
It is, and in fact, this few weeks since the announcement, we've had our sales teams and their sales team engage, look at where we could have opportunities to work together on, and the excitement is actually proliferated all the way down into the regions.
That's fantastic. I mean, we're sitting here now, Kelly, at the pivot between 2015 and 2016. 2015 had some unprecedented movement in it as far as moving forward with some of the solutions and things like virtualization. What was the thing which surprised you most last year, and what do you expect to see happen this year as far as big shifts in our industry?
Well, I think the industry consolidation and the pace at which it's occurring was certainly one, whether it's in in the operator space or even in our industry, in the vendor space, certainly was a surprise. The other one was, there was a lot of progress made around some of the key technology concepts, making them real, around cloud and video or even NFV and SDN. I think we're starting to see real specific examples that have happened. I think 5G, surprisingly, is progressed in people's thinking and operators'
I'd agree
thinking.
with you, yeah.
Right, so those are a few things that actually jumped up. But the biggest thing that came to me was the recognition from everyone that all of these technology areas and things that we're talking about are really about how to move fast, that speed part, how to build the network simply and quickly, how to operate the network on day 2 to day 5 or day 10, and how to continually optimize the network and the processes and procedures and automating those. Because if you take a look at my customers, the operators, you take a look at their OpEx versus their CapEx ratio, a big challenge they have is their OpEx.
Right.
And if we can help them with tools, with applications, with software, and enhance their ability to operate the network simpler and be able to scale it out as they will need to, right, it's going to help them move a lot faster.
But you also have to hold their hand through that process, because just as speed is the secret of their success, both in terms of time to market, but also versus their competitor, speed kills as well. So, you have to be the trusted partner in that equation, don't
and
you?
this is a transformation, a journey for us and our customers. Because, a lot of things around cloud and virtualization, SDN, are really about a new operational model.
Right.
It's really about new capabilities and skills, but it's really about a new operational model that our customers and we have to kind of get to.
What are you going to talk about at MWC, or what do you think the big? Let's pull it out a little bit, because I don't want you to pre-announce anything. But what do you think the big themes of MWC will be this year?
Well, MWC, like CES, is a premier show in our industry.
Absolutely.
I call it the water cooler of our industry now. And one of the things that's happened there as well, I've seen it transform more from being a mobile only to a much more broader discussion. I mean, we have conversations with customers from around the globe, and we have every one of our operator customers or potential customers from around the globe that come in. And we talk about everything.
Like
we
700
mobile,
meetings last year, right?
More.
Really?
Well, 600 meetings is what we're going to do here in the next few days, right? But there it's even much more. So if you imagine that we actually have conversations and touch points around video, around collaboration, around security, around mobile, around fixed network, around access technologies, and around new innovations around orchestration and things. We have everything in our portfolio being touched and covered.
Right.
So what you can expect from us is the following, which is a repeat from us on the breadth of both customer kind of interactions and touch points and announcements, as well as new technologies areas that we'll be driving to, making some reality of use cases around some of the virtualization SDN areas, but also more concreteness around what we're going to do with our new partner, Ericsson, as well.
Right. Well, I'm excited. Hopefully we'll get a chance to sit down when we're in Barcelona.
Well, maybe we can talk there, and you can ask me the same question. We can talk about what we announced.
I think last year, we got to talk about the first test, real-world test of a virtualization solution, which was, of course, from Cisco. And for me, that was the real pivot in the year. That was the biggest surprise for me, was that there was real NFV and it was available. And I'm happy to see that you're continuing that testing with us now and actually leading the industry with the new IP agency testing as well.
That's right. Well, we intend to lead in this space.
Yeah,
and we're going to help our customers do what they need to in terms of running their business.
It's been a fantastic story, and I'm looking forward to helping tell it this year with you, Kelly, as well.
Same here.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Great
Steve.
to see you.
Right,
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too.